I want somebody to tell me if I'm crazy or not. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another story out of Ohio. How many stories can I do out of Ohio? Like, why do they always seem, on my channel at least, to have the highest number of reports of things happening to children? It's just unbelievable that one state, let alone some of these particular cities, which I'm not going to call them out right now, bring out some of the worst stories. But let me give you a disclaimer before I dive into this and talk about the individuals that you guys see on my screen. Here's your disclaimer. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And thank you very much. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is coming out of Columbus, Ohio. I know y'all know I used to get a lot of stories coming out of Cuyahoga and Cleveland. So this is coming out of Columbus. I don't really know if there's a correlation there, but nonetheless. An Ohio woman and her boyfriend. Can we get a hashtag mom's boyfriend? Since that website doesn't exist anymore, I think somebody might have gotten it taken down or might have deleted the website. I don't know. But I thought it was a good website because what they did was they pointed out this particular scenario where children are obviously brought into situations and being left with people or being forced to live under the roof with people who are not qualified to be around children. Mom's boyfriend. A mother and a boyfriend have been arrested for allegedly murdering her 8-month-old son. And I'm getting this information from lawandcrime.com. Thank you guys for the article. They do an amazing job. Records show that Savannah Dawson, let me see if I can go back to her face. That's a beautiful baby. That's Savannah Dawson, 23 years old, and Kyrios L. March Jr., I hope that's how you say his name, 24 years old, were booked Friday for murder into the Southeastern Ohio Regional Jail. As reported, police in Columbus, Ohio, I'm trying not to say cops because I know that Lee Hellinger tells me all the time, say police, don't say cops. But police in Columbus, Ohio had been seeking them for allegedly murdering that infant baby that you guys see on my screen. He is or was 8 months old. Let me see if I can get a bigger picture of him on the screen because let me see, which one is it? I'm going to put up my favorite picture, which is this one, the one we just showed. That one's a good picture, but I think this one's a great picture. That's the biological dad in that picture. I'm going to see if I can maybe crop him out just for a moment. Just because I want to focus on the baby. I want y'all to take a look at this. That is a cute baby. He looks happy. I know his dad loves him. And you would just have to ask yourself, what is going on with these people, let alone in the state of Ohio, that you could look at a face like this and get mad and disrespect this child, whether it's not feeding them, whether it's beating them, whether it's losing your temper or whatever the case is. Maybe it's something in the water out there. I don't know, because it's so many cases of moms and boyfriends abusing these children. Do you guys remember one of my famous stories on my channel that started my channel, Anaya Day Garrett, who was murdered by her mother, Sierra Day, and her boyfriend, Deontay Lewis. I don't know how I always remember that name, but I always remember it. They participated in the murder of that little girl, of Anaya Day Garrett. And that was in Ohio also. It just seems to be a very crazy trend of mom and mom's boyfriend. And I'm just calling that out because I just think it's quite odd. Okay? Now, that little baby that you just saw on my screen, let me back it up. His name is Marquel Smith. It's either Markel Smith or Marquel, Marquel. So I'm not sure which one it is. I'd love to pronounce his name correctly. I want to put some respect on his name. So Marquel Smith. Officers were dispatched to the home on Monday about a report of a child not breathing, according to documents. He was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead, and doctors discovered suspicious serious injuries. Columbus Police Homicide Unit was notified after doctors at Children's Hospital found numerous broken bones. Now, the article that I'm reading from, let me read to y'all what it actually said. The title of it says, Ohio mother and her boyfriend arrested for allegedly murdering her infant son. Many broken bones. Many broken bones. That is no accident. That is intentional. Their intent was to hurt and kill this child. But why? Somebody said Dakota Collins was also out of Ohio. Y'all could probably fill up my chat with all the names of the children that have been murdered in Ohio just since in the 5 years that I've been doing YouTube. Said it's Markel. Thank you. So it's Markel. I'll call the baby Markel. He's a beautiful little baby. Multiple broken bones. Some broken bones were healing fractures, and the right leg was an acute fracture. That means they had to really been inflicting some serious. Like, why? What could this baby have done that bad? And if you hated this child that much, and if you didn't want to be around this child, guess what you could have done? You could have given up custody to the dad. And you'd have to ask yourself, Mom, why didn't you want to give up custody? You guys remember that story I was just talking about with Anaya Day Garrett? I want you guys to remember that she had an opportunity to relinquish custody of her child to the dad, to Michael Garrett. And you know what the mom decided to do? 4 days before they were supposed to go to family court, Sierra Day and her boyfriend Deontay Lewis beat that girl to death. That she didn't get to make it to that court date, which the judge would have decided who that child gets to live with. They beat her to death. Does that not sound like what was going on here? They didn't want the dad to have custody. So in turn, not only do they end this child's life, but they also end their lives. Because I believe that if you get convicted of a murder charge, that's a life sentence. Maybe even harsher if they have the death penalty. So you're willing to take 3 entire human lives off the table just so this man can't raise his child? Really? It's for the benefits. The mom would lose the benefits. And the mom decided to get emotional and said, you know what? Instead of him taking my child and me losing custody of this child, I'd rather kill this child before I lose all of the benefits that I'm collecting, whether it be Section 8 food stamps or child support or control over that man or control over that baby. That's what we call babies for benefits. It's a very spiteful thing. Now let's keep going. Officers said that they brought in Dawson and March in for questioning, and the couple allegedly said that they had no idea how Smith received his injuries, so nobody knew a fucking thing. Isn't that incredible? Excuse my language. But they suggested that other children in the home could have been responsible, so they had other kids there, and notice how they didn't do this to the other kids. They only did this to this one kid, right? But then they turn around and blame their children. So these people are so inhumane that instead of them stepping up and taking responsibility for what they did to Markel, they decided to blame the other children instead. The couple allegedly said they had no idea how this happened, and they said the other children could have been responsible. Miss Dawson did not know how Markel Smith received so many broken bones and claimed that the other three-year-old children may have been to blame. That's according to detectives who wrote in a probable cause affidavit against the mother. Miss Dawson was released pending further investigation. Now how they released her, I think that's another thing that Ohio got wrong. Why did she get released? Now, authorities did not identify these other children, But Markel's father, Georgia resident Deshaun Smith, I'll let you guys hear from him, denied that his two daughters, who also live with Dawson, were responsible. Oh, wow. They loved their bubby, he told WRGT on Thursday during the search for his ex-wife Dawson and her boyfriend March. They would get onto you, a grown person, for messing with him. That makes that statement. The further investigation ended with a doctor reaching a pivotal conclusion. I don't know why I'm getting tongue-tied. Sorry. Reached a pivotal conclusion. Markel Smith's death was a homicide. The Franklin County Coroner's Office did the autopsy on Wednesday, documents stated. They determined that Smith died from blunt force trauma. The doctor who performed the autopsy says Smith suffered from brain bleed, several bruises, and on the subdermal skull. The child's numerous broken bones were consistent with abuse and not accidental in nature, the autopsy determined. Dawson and March surrendered in Perry County, according to WTTE. That was reportedly in the mother's hometown of New Straitsville. That's an area that she knew a lot of people, most likely seen her, Deshaun Smith told the outlet. They weren't going to get far just knowing their situation with the people around them and stuff like that. They weren't going to make it that far. So let me let you guys hear the news videos. Let me get that up here. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. I just don't really think people understand how stupid they sound. Like, you talk about 3-year-olds breaking babies' bones. It's not impossible, but just not likely. That sounds like adult behavior, bad behavior. Here we go. If y'all would, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up and share this video. And let me know what you guys think, because I know this story is very gut-wrenching, but let me know what you guys' real thoughts are. Here we go.
Right now, this couple is on the run. These two here charged in the death of an 8-month-old baby boy.
Yes, we've been following this story for several days now. The baby died Monday night of blunt force trauma. 10 TV's Brittany Bailey is asking questions of police. She is live tonight with the update. Brittany.
Well, Andrew and Yolanda, our biggest question so far has been, why was this couple taken into custody for questioning and then released? Well, here's the response from police when we asked that exact question today.
Both mom and boyfriend were taken into custody for questioning the night that the baby died. And then after that, were released, and now they're gone.
So, good question. So when we have situations like any homicide investigation, or really any criminal investigation, we want to make sure we get it right. And so sometimes that means we have to slow things down a little bit. It might mean that we get interviews. We might have to work with the coroner's office. We might gather more information, and then charges can play out. So if that's a thought, which I think that's a reasonable thought and question, there are reasons behind that, and that's part of the investigative process.
Well, now, both 23-year-old Savannah Dawson, the baby's mother, and 24-year-old Kyrus March, the mother's boyfriend, are on the run tonight. Police say they've not heard about any sightings of the two, and while there is no official BOLO yet, they do have officers searching for the couple here in our state and beyond.
Y'all don't think that's suspicious how they disappeared and tried to run? I think that's indicative of guilt.
Now, this all started Monday night with a call to a home on Hiawatha Street in the South Linden neighborhood. The couple was taken in for questioning after 8-month-old baby Marquel Smith died at the hospital. According to court records, doctors found the baby had several broken bones, some of them healing already, meaning they were old injuries. Both Dawson and March said they didn't realize the baby had so many broken bones and blamed the injuries on the other children in the home. Both were then released. Then yesterday, an autopsy showed the baby had a brain bleed, bruises on his skull, and broken bones the doctors said could not have been accidental.
I agree. Look, and let me ask you guys this, and I agree there's no other way. There's no way that those other children broke this baby's bones. I never believed that when they put that in the statement. But let me tell y'all this. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to step out on this tree onto a very thin branch. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Let me see if y'all follow where I'm going. Y'all ready for this, AFC? Y'all ready? How many people have even pointed in the direction of the biological father also for at least ignoring or neglecting the injuries? That's where I'm probably going to become unpopular, but I want y'all to remember that I'm an advocate for children first. If I was a dad and a parent, and if I were this man, I would be like, you know what? I understand. Thank you for advocating for my son. I appreciate that. I want all the questions to be answered. All the questions that there could be about what happened to my baby and his legacy, I want answers and definitive answers to those questions. This is the biological father, and from all accounts and from what everybody's saying, seems like he's a good dude. I'll let y'all hear his interview, and he seems like a good dude. I find it hard to believe that your son was 8 months old. He's very young. You spent time with your son. How does he have broken bones and you didn't notice it? You didn't notice pain. You didn't notice crying. You didn't notice redness. As a matter of fact, if y'all look right here, let me back this video up just for a second. This interaction.
Bruises on his skull and broken bones the doctor said could not.
Right there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a mark on his face. I'm not saying that the dad did anything. I don't believe he did. But here's what I believe in being a good parent. And trust me, you guys, I co-parent my daughter also her entire life. My daughter will be 16 years old this year. So I'm speaking about what I know. I know what it's like to have your child living in a household with others and you not being in that household, and then you get a chance to get your child and you spend time with your child. And to be honest with you guys, I'll let you guys into a little bit of my personal life. When my daughter was young, and I'm going to give her mom a big shout out for this. If she gave me my daughter and my daughter had a scratch or a bump, my daughter's mom explained that scratch or that bump and had paperwork to back it up. In turn, even though it didn't happen, but if something would happen to my daughter while she was with me, when I gave her to her mom, guess what I did? I would give her a perfect account of what happened. That's proper co-parenting. And so many of us have to co-parent nowadays because we're not bringing children into this world under a marriage, under the social construct that used to work for us back in the day. So we're having kids outside of marriage, so we have to learn to co-parent better. What I'm saying about this is I think it's impossible for you to have not known that your son was in pain and had broken bones within 8 months. How many times did you see him? Once or twice in 8 months? If he's an active dad like I think he is, I'm assuming that he saw his son multiple times a month. And if he had old injuries, then he would have known that those injuries existed. Known that something was wrong with his son, took his son to the hospital, get him examined and say, hey, I didn't do this, but I brought my son from the child's mom and maybe they had something to do with this. You would have been able to explain this long time ago. Now that's where I'm going to get on to these dads. And I'm sorry, I've done interviews with men and I've told them to their face, bro, there's more you could have did. You cannot be completely absolved. How many of you ladies out there believe that some of these men and fathers need to be held accountable for their lackluster roles also in these children's lives? Yes? Huh? And that's the real God honest truth. If I'm pointing the finger at them, that points the finger back at me also. I need to be a better father as well. I'm not a great father. I'm not even a good father. I think I'm a decent father. There's a mark under this child's eye. You can't ignore stuff like this. You would have noticed he had broken bones. And multiple broken bones at that. No, there's no way you didn't know that.
Been accidental. His cause of death was blunt force trauma and was ruled a homicide. The father of baby Marquel is heartbroken, but says he does not hold any anger in his heart.
Don't put hatred out towards nobody. Show nothing but love. Respect my son's name. Don't tarnish his name trying to do nothing senseless to these people. They gonna get what they get. That's just life. But just respect my son's name.
Now, I also did reach out to Franklin County Children's Services about this case. We were told that the agency had no prior.
I'm going to reserve my jokes about the father. I know y'all know me well enough to know that I tend to crack jokes, and I'm just not going to do it right now, damn it. I know some of y'all are probably laughing in the chat. I'm not going to do it, okay? So stop it. Stop it. Y'all being bad right now. Stop it.
Contact with the family prior to baby Marquel's death, and the other children who were in the home at the time are now in custody, in protective custody. Reporting live downtown, Brittany Bailey, 10 TV.
I'm Tracy Townsend. 10 TV News at noon starts with breaking news. Columbus police confirm the mother and boyfriend accused in the death of an 8-month-old baby turned themselves in to officers in Perry County. This happened about 2 hours ago. Savannah Dawson and Kyrios March Jr. are both charged with murder. That baby boy was found unresponsive Monday night. 10 TV talked with the baby Markel Smith's father. He says he just wants people to respect his son's name.
I want to be the first person to say, as a father, as I carry his name forever in my life, because my middle name is Marquel, that I'll be the first to push on. Show forgiveness, show grace, and show mercy, and show love to these people.
Court documents show the baby had a brain bleed and several bruises on his skull. Police say 3 other children were in the home when the baby died.
3 other children. Man. All these young babies. We just out here just making a bunch of... So there were 4 children under this roof. And they only killed 1. Couldn't let the dad have custody of one of them? And yes, I believe that the dad seemed to be a little bit dismissive, in my opinion.
Ten TV has been following this story all week, and you can be alerted first to the news.
Police say a couple charged in the death of an 8-month-old baby boy. He's now on the run this morning. NBC4 Cynthia Hill joins us now with the latest. Cynthia.
Well, good morning, Brad. 23-year-old Savannah Dawson, the boy's mother, and 24-year-old Kyrios March have both been formally charged with the child's murder. Police now say they believe they have reason to believe that the pair have fled the Columbus area. At this time, officers say March has ties to Michigan. We do not know whether the boy's mother, Savannah Dawson, has ties to any other states. In the autopsy report completed Wednesday, the Franklin County Coroner's Office concluded 8-month-old Markel Smith died from blunt force trauma. This after police found the baby unresponsive at a North Linden residence.
Well, look, you know what? Somebody in the chat said that I didn't say nothing about the man's neck tattoos. Well, look, I'm going to tell y'all. Can I be real with you guys? I'm going to be real while we're in the middle of this story. The hardest people on black people are black people. You guys know that about that story, Tyree Nichols, and this is probably the wrong time to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. Do you guys know what incited at least one of those police officers to do what they did to that man? For that man allegedly having relations with that man's girlfriend or wife, whatever she was. And he dragged everybody else into it. The reason why I bring that up is because we tend to talk about police violence and all of that stuff like the big bad boogeyman white man is always out to get us. But it's so funny how whenever we have an all-black police force, the people who treat us the worst are people that look just like us. The rate of violence towards black people with an all-black police force was at an all-time high, and it had all-time complaints from people that look just like them. Why am I bringing that up? We're bringing this up to say about my personal experience that it seems like black women tend to really give me the hardest time. And I'm going to tell y'all something because I think this is the oddest thing in the world. I've had black women tell me that I'm gay, talk about my sexuality. I hate my mother, I hate my daughter, and I'm not a good father. All because I do stories like this. And if I would have made a joke about that man's tattoo and said that neck tattoos generally symbolize a thug, because what law-abiding citizen would put tattoos on their face and on their neck, right? I say that, and they turn around and say, well, you must be gay. You must hate black people. Why don't you never talk about white people on your channel like that? You don't have that same energy for white people. Huh. Do I not? For those who have been watching me for a while, maybe y'all can tell them in the chat. I know this ain't got a whole lot to do with the story, but I did want to call out the man's neck tattoos. I'm just saying, always throw that out there. That might be a yellow flag on the play. You might want to pull that yellow flag out your back pocket and throw it in the air. There might be a warning sign that you might be fucking a thug, ma'am. Right? Right, pasty girl? You might be fucking a thug. But then again, you might be a shitty mom. The fact that you have all of these kids under the age of 3 years old, and you got like, what, 4 kids under the age of 3 years old? Just, man, when does your pussy have time to heal? I'm sorry. I know that was disgusting. I'm sorry. That's my Tourette syndrome. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I apologize. I don't know where that came from. Why would I say such a thing? But for those who've been listening to me for a while, I have the same energy for everybody. What do we call them? We call them what? Snowbillies. We call them what is that other term that we call them? Hoodbillies, right? Grandma meth and grandpa meth, right? That dates the white people, right? What is that other one? Trailer park thugs, right? What else do we call them? We call them a lot of stuff. I don't know. When you date hillbillies, you date death, #hoodbillies. Hoodbillies is probably my favorite one. So if y'all ever hear somebody say hoodbillies, just know that they got it from my channel. I'm just telling you guys that when anybody hurts children, they get the same treatment on my channel as anybody, and I don't really care about the race. I don't even care what country it happened in. That's my point for even bringing that up. I don't care where it happened. I don't think that any children on planet Earth should be treated this way, let alone this 8-month-old baby who couldn't speak for themselves nor defend themselves against the tyranny of mom and boyfriend, should have had to suffer severe broken bones. It's flat out ridiculous.
Monday night. Later that night, he was pronounced dead at Nationwide Children's Hospital. The autopsy results leading officers to charge the pair with the baby's murder. Now,
thank you, Rampage Nicole. I might be a little different. You know, maybe I like to pronunciate my words. Maybe that's something that's frowned upon for a black man, to be able to speak properly, because I didn't always speak properly. I had to kind of learn to speak just a little bit more proper. That way I can get through in this white collar world, and maybe even some of my blue collar jobs. But in order for me to be a salesman, yes, I had to learn how to talk a little bit better.
And March remain at large this morning. Brad, anyone with information on the whereabouts of Dawson or March are asked to contact Columbus Police. Now, Brad, I did speak to a neighbor and a business owner in that neighborhood a little more than an hour ago, who tell me they didn't know the couple personally, but that they know that the couple was new to the area and had lived in the area about 10 days or so.
So let's go ahead and end that right there. And again, to these two people, I think the fact that they ran is a very large red flag that they probably are guilty, and I hope that they find them guilty. I think the Ohio system needs a little bit more reform when it comes to people who are suspected of doing crimes to children. Man, don't let them go like we need to do more investigating. No, y'all need to start doing more arresting and charging and giving people 100 years in prison when babies are dead. Y'all are on the clock, Ohio. 2023, starting this month. Y'all got to start getting some of this stuff right. And here, I think they clearly got it wrong. We need to show the world and show this country that our babies' lives matter. And when there is a dead child, if we even suspect, if you even smell remotely guilty, They ass need to be sitting down there until they can get bailed out. But you need to charge them and charge them promptly. I think there was plenty enough evidence here to hold them beyond a like they weren't innocent beyond a reasonable doubt. Like they were both there. They both knew something was going on. But let me also additionally add this to the dad. Brother, I don't know what you was looking at when you went to pick up your son and you had your son with you at any point in time. You don't miss broken bones, pimping. You don't. You don't miss that. You don't call yourself a father, have your child, and miss broken bones. That don't happen. So I hope they look into that also. Because like I said, I think that everybody needs to take our babies and everybody needs to be held accountable for taking care of our babies. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I know I said a whole lot, even got into some of the political stuff, some police stuff, whatever it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, because we're going to do this on my channel, because all of this circles back around to our children. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you.